Stu, your reaction to this stunning shakeup in the world of news?
Absolutely incredible, Megyn. And it goes back to the central question that I know I asked, I know you asked. It seemed like everybody asked this question. Why on earth was someone like Chris Cuomo continually protected for so long when he did so many things that were wrong? And we don't know exactly the details of how this unwinds, but we know that Zucker is in a relationship with a former Cuomo aide, and the whole house of cards stands on Chris Cuomo maintaining his job and the reporting by CNN being totally irrational when it comes to looking at Andrew Cuomo's scandals, because the second those protection walls break down, the entire thing collapses. And, information is power here. I don't know how exactly all of this comes out, but we do know that this investigation, as Zucker said, came from the Chris Cuomo investigation. They were able to unfurl this information because of them being held responsible for the actions of their own employees. And, I thought how many people joked about it all the time. They must have dirt on Jeff Zucker. What is going on? Well, this is what was going on.
Mm-hmm. It's so layered, right? The fact that she worked for him for at least part of the time. I don't know if she was still his direct report, but I know for a fact she was his direct report for a number of years in the recent past. So she worked for him. She had worked for Andrew Cuomo and may have still had some sort of a relationship with Andrew Cuomo. I have no idea. But that's something I'm sure we'll learn more about. And Chris Cuomo, of course, has a relationship with Andrew Cuomo, and they're brothers. So Jeff Zucker's at the top for a long, long time protecting Chris Cuomo and allowing him. He was the one who allowed him to put Andrew Cuomo on the air, notwithstanding what had been a very smart rule, not letting the one guy interview his brother. But he bent the rule for ratings, let him put him on, no hard questions, even though the nursing home scandal was already unfolding. No problem. He got away with murder. I mean, truly, in those interviews. And then suddenly it was like, oh, you helped your brother more than I knew, and you're fired. And it was weird. It was like, well, wait, you knew most of what he did months ago, and you didn't care. So what changed? And we talked about this on the show. One of the things that changed was ownership changed of CNN. And it fell into the hands of John Malone, whose company also happens to own SiriusXM, among other media entities. And suddenly there was less of a tolerance for the chumminess between Chris Cuomo and the governor of New York, his brother, Andrew Cuomo. So one does wonder whether that was even Jeff Zucker's decision at the very end, whether his hand was forced, or whether he just finally realized, there's too many ethical lines and it's going to start to make me look really bad if I keep permitting this or looking the other way, and fired him knowing this dirt could come back on him at any moment.
Yeah, I mean, it's an impossible position really for Zucker to be in. He knows that there's responsible ownership about to come on board. He knows that pressure is coming. Even if it wasn't the exact cause for this firing, it probably would have been in the coming months anyway. And so he's sitting here knowing that if he lets go of Cuomo, there's one thing we know about every member of the Cuomo family that at least I'm familiar with, which is especially the two men at the top here that we've talked about so often, is that they are vindictive. They don't care about other people. They only care about themselves. And over and over again, if they have information, if they have power they think they can use over you, they will use it without any hesitance to crush your life if it benefits them in any way. And here we are imagine the feeling of Jeff Zucker. This is not the feeling, this is not the day maybe to feel empathy for Zucker, but he's sitting here in an impossible situation. He knows every ounce of credibility of his network is on the line for the way he's handled Chris Cuomo and Andrew Cuomo over the past year or two. He knows how bad he looks. I think he wants to keep, he wants to keep this whole house of cards together, and he's realizing he's running out of ways to do that. And once you go to this point where you let Cuomo go, where you actually try to hold him responsible in even the slightest way, there's no way that either Chris or Andrew or someone else around them is going to expose every dark secret they have over you.
No way that they're not going to. Yeah.
Yeah. There's no way they're not going to miss that chance, because this is the game they play. It is fundamental to their character, to their core, to utilize their power, their information, anything they can to destroy their enemies. So the second you cross that line and you say, hey, Chris, we have to hold you accountable, you become an enemy and you become on the wrong side of that arsenal. And it seems like that's what happened with Jeff Zucker today.